Hey, I'm MUVirtual. My name is Meg Protz. I will be guiding you through your Instagram Live class today. Today's class, I do recommend having 2 blocks and then some form of strap, scarf, or tether at home, a jump rope, whatever you can find will work. I'd like to really target lower back, outer hip, and then hamstrings today. So if that sounds good to you, come on down to your mat. I'm going to take off my socks because I forgot to take them off before I started filming. You know what? At MU, we are human. We will have a really fun blooper reel one day. So today's class, let's start down in child's pose. Take your knees nice and wide and sink your hips right back towards those heels. Now, if the bum can't quite get back to those heels comfortably, you're more than welcome to place some pillows there. Bow your chest forward as you relax your belly between your thighs. And if it feels okay, you can bend those arms and just allow yourself to soften. I invite you to close your eyes. With your eyes closed, become more introspective as you notice the depth of your breath. And begin to notice the circumference of your rib cage. Feeling not only the front of your belly, but the small of your lower back expand. And allow your inhalations to slow down. Allow your exhalations to really be drawn out. Maybe this is the first time today you've actually slowed down and checked in. Really paid attention to your breath. So just residing here, observing, witnessing the gentle inhale, the relaxing exhale. Begin to scan. Scan your body from head to toe. Just notice what you might be harboring beneath your surface today. And again, just observing it with presence, with awareness, and without judgment. Meet yourself where you are at. Let's take 10 more breaths here. What's lovely about child's poses, you really get that act of surrender, that bowing inwards to self. And from a physiological standpoint, if you hold it long enough, it actually becomes a bit of a hip opener. Slower than you'd like. Take a cleansing breath. Pull up to all fours, tabletop. Stack shoulders over wrists. Stack knees under hips. And then from here, keep the toes tucked just to begin to open up the feet a little bit. We're going to work cat and cow. So that your inhale, let your belly drop, tail and crown flare up, allowing for that hyperextension in the spine. Pull the shoulder blades away from the ears as you open chest. And then exhale, humble tail to crown. crown to tail, dome, your upper back. Push it away from the ground. Actively feel your hands push down. Good. Keep going with your breath in and out of these shapes. Maybe this is the first time today you've really slowed down enough to explore some slowness. Just notice what it feels like to connect to breath rather than chase it, rather than force it. And let it be your guide today. Good. Find a neutral flat spine and then slowly roll all the way over to your outer left hip. As you roll over to that outer left hip, you're going to extend the right leg straight and strong to the back of your mat. And then I'm going to ask you to pike that left foot forward so that there's almost a 90-degree angle between the front left leg and the back right leg. Now, this is a great place to bring your blocks or pillows or props into play. You're going to take them to the top of your mat. Facing them forward, you're going to gently rotate from the lower spine, bring your rib cage past the front edge of your mat, and then lower down to forearms or belly. Now pull the pinky toe edge side of your left foot in as you really dig that left hip crease back. You're going to begin to feel that slight pull to the outer left thigh or left hip, just opening up that muscular grab of the hamstring around that IT band. And then you can stay up on forearms or stay up on hands, modifying as needed. Or you can come right on down to that belly and create that air of surrender once more. Allow for that bringing out action of your belly to transpire. Slowly lift up. Good, and then bend that bottom left knee, brace the shin bone, come back to all fours, keep the right leg extended, tuck the right toes, and just press back, down dog, reset. Now, because this is our first down dog today, let it be mobile, let it be dynamic. Bend those knees a lot as you push your heart back to your thighs, drive that index finger and thumb down. Now really soften the shoulders away from your ears, allowing the elbow creases to turn up to the ceiling. Good. Let's just move with breath, finding that intuitive movement, just tapping into what feels juicy, feels good for you. And come back to all fours. Let's roll to the right hip. And as you roll to your right hip, shoot your left leg back, flex the toes in, kick your right leg out past the left edge of your mat. Flex the toes into your body. Now, same thing, again, you can bring your blocks underneath you. Or nice and slow, you can begin to walk your chest forward. So bringing that revolution of the left rib cage forward and then bowing down. Really cinch your left and right hip away from your rib cage, almost as if to lengthen out the space between your tailbone and ribs. I want to think about creating space in the side bodies. Feel your breath revolve its way around your lower back and belly. Without trying too hard, just experiencing and noticing sensation and how it changes here. Last 3 cycles of breath. Let your inhale guide you back up. Plant those palms under your shoulders. Bend your right knee so the shin bone is stacked towards the mat. And then prop yourself back to this three-legged table. Hands plant, index fingers facing straight forward as if you're pointing to the top of your mat. Left toes tucked, press back, down dog. And notice if there's just a little bit more space in your down dog today. Think about lengthening your tailbone up and back as if the sit bones are trying to reach a wall behind you. And there's no need to get the heels down today, so offer yourself a gracious bend to those knees. I'd rather you have a straight spine with bent legs rather than straight legs and a rounded back. We're going to take a Surya Namaskara C, Sun Salute C, so working more into hamstrings and hip flexors. Inhale, kick right heel high. Lift high onto your left tiptoes, breathe in. Exhale, look forward and step forward, take a high-low lunge. Your blocks can be stacked underneath your hands right here. Shoot out through the back left heel, and then magnify your left big toe towards your right heel. Feeling that contraction to the center line of your body, take the chest slightly forward. Shoulders hug back. Really try to reach your heart forward. And then exhale, step forward, whether it takes 1 bound, 2 bounds, 4 steps, or 1. Make your way to the top of your mat, forward fold. And this is a really great place to grab your blocks on their highest point. You can use books, small dogs, small children, whatever you need. Bend those knees a lot, as if you're trying to almost widen your seat, and make sure those tiptoes are all pointing straight forward as if there's a slight pigeon toe to the feet. Blocks in our hands, can you get a little heavier, a little bit more relaxed into the upper body, and then fully drape that head, and just let gravity take over. Let it do the work for you. Can you get a little heavier through your outer heels? Good, either with hands on shins or blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. Stay light on your toes, flattest back, bum back, crown forward. Exhale, fold. 2 more, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Last one, halfway lift. Drop your tailbone to your heels, and then inhale, curl all the way up to standing. Shoulders coming up and back to the top. Tadasana. Beautiful. Sweep arms, widen up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Hands to blocks or shins. Inhale, halfway lift, flattest spine. Exhale, fold. Good. This time you're going to step your left foot back. Find that high-low lunge. Really squaring hips back. Pitch the heart forward. Hands can come onto the fingertips, little spider legs, or they can be flat. But if you have really short arms, use your blocks, please. Good. Brace the palms, lift your hips, pull yourself up and back, high plank. Drop the knees. We're going to go knees, chin, chest. Here we go. Bend the elbows back. Chin comes down, butt sticks up. Now slide it through like you're zipping the elbows back to the heels and pull through for cobra. Shoelace side of the feet brace down, glutes are engaged to push the hips into the earth, and elbows are teetering back to squeeze shoulder blades down the spine. And exhale, slide back tabletop to down dog. And gradually over time as you practice, that'll smooth out with breath. Inhale, left heel high. Exhale, step forward, high-low lunge. Again, on fingertips or blocks. Really magnetize that front heel to the back right big toe. Chest lengthens forward like you're trying to reach the sternum past the front edge of your mat. And saturating your breath to that right hip flexor. Let it stretch out. Beautiful, look forward. 1, 2 to 5 bounds, however many steps you need to get forward. Forward fold, top of your mat. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, longest spine, light toes. Breathe out as you create that space in your back fold. Inhale, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, hands to heart center. Pause. Slight tuck of the chin, humbling in. Take a cleansing breath. And we move one more time. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. This time, step your right foot back. Step it to the back of your mat, high-low lunge. Now really get your hips heavy like they're a hammock. Then take your heart forward. Shoot the right heel back. And notice if you've shrunk your breath, bring it back to that full, voluminous breath, spreading belly to hip. I'm just going to move my blocks here. And then nice and slow, step back, high plank. Drop the knees, chin to chest, let your bum stick up, bend the elbows back to your hip creases. Good, get that squeeze in the back body, and then slide it through for that cobra. Good, bum is engaged. You're pushing hip creases down into the mat. And exhale, drop the chest, good. Open your arms out nice and wide to a T. Grab a block, place it underneath your chin. Now, nice and slow, you're going to bend that left elbow, plant the left palm beside your chest, bend your left knee. Shift your block over to the right so it supports the right side body. And then nice and slow, you're going to roll onto that right side body and allow the left heel to stack behind the right thigh. Pull the head back as you drop into that right shoulder, getting that huge pec opener here. Let the block support you, let a pillow support you. And then find the longest spine you can as you target your breath higher up towards your collarbones. Now really fan that right hand and have a little traction as you push the hand down to take the right shoulder away from the right ear. Think about creating space to your neck. Slowly roll back to your belly. Good. Shift your block all the way over to the left. Extend your arms back to that T. Now, plant your right palm beside your chest, bend your right knee. Keep the left side body long, and then nice and slow roll to your left side. Gotta bring my mic pack with me. Now, as you pull shoulder blades down and back, pull the head back in line with your heart, and then rest that head. Now, notice where you begin to tense up here, because we're tackling into those muscles that surround your heart. They are very strong and they can tend to hold a lot of tension. So notice where tension builds, whether it's your palms, your jaw. Notice if you're scrunching your neck or forehead. Feel that slight traction of your left palm pushing down into the ground as if you're almost kind of palming it, you're gripping it. Should feel that big pec opener. Anterior delt, pec major, pec minor. Let it all begin to peel open. Slowly come back to your belly. Move microphone packs out of your way. Now, nice and slow, you're going to push up to all fours. And then once again, drop over onto your left hip. So if you checked out the Instagram Live last time we did this, I want you to extend that bottom left leg as straight as you can and then prop the right foot behind it. Think about that inner thigh, and then grab a pillow, a block, a book, stick it right up in between the upper thighs, and then kind of suction the thigh bones tight together, straight and strong, like you're trying to stomp them to a wall at the back edge of your mat. Now stack your hip bones, right hand comes in front for brace for support, and then slightly wiggle walk that left hand away from you. Now, as you stack your hip bones, lean your rib cage in towards your left elbow, getting that huge oblique opener right into the side belly. And then cultivate breath as if to puff out your lungs into that left rib. And what's nice here is because this top thigh bone's got a block there, it's depressing that left thigh bone deeper and wider into the hip socket. So it's facilitating that lower hip opener. And go to that edge, that sweet spot where you're like, ooh, it's spicy, but I like it. I'm a person that loves spicy food. I love hot sauce, so if you ever have recommendations of the best hot sauce, please send them my way. And just the easiest transition we can, soften that left elbow, begin to roll back onto your belly, taking a tiny sphinx, and then just roll right onto that right thigh. Straighten the right leg, reset the right palm, make sure index finger's pointing forward, stomp out the feet as if you're trying to push them past the back edge of your mat, and then straighten that right arm. Left hand's propped right in front of your belly or chest or on a block or whatever you need to do to balance here. And you're getting right into that right oblique, right hip. I always find this is so juicy to begin to peel open those muscles supporting your lower back. It's okay to let that right shoulder kind of come up as you relax your neck and head. And then puff your breath right into that right hip. Good, 3 more breaths, stay with it. Beautiful, come back to your belly. You can remove that pillow, that block from between your thighs, and then nice and slow, press back up to all fours. And then I'm going to ask you to take a passive pigeon, so slide that left shin bone forward and roll all the way onto that left hip. So we're going to take this really easy to start, really passive, really mindfully. So bring the left shin bone forward so that it's parallel to the top edge of your mat. There's a 90-degree angle between that front knee. Bring your right shin bone parallel to the side edge of the mat so you have 2 right angles at your legs. Bring your blocks forward, your bolster, pillows, blocks, whatever you need, and then place them in front of your left shin bone. Now, sitting tall, rotate your ribcage towards kind of that point of the knee, and then flex all 10 toes back into your body to hold the structural integrity of the shin bone to knee. Now, hinging from the hips, you're going to lengthen your tailbone back and reach your heart forward and out towards the knee to start. Now, gradually over time, you can begin to shift the blocks towards the toes so that the heart kind of pushes towards the shin bone. And then you can land down onto forearms or elbows. Good. Now, try not to dome the upper back. I want you to think about lengthening and elongating here, beginning to open up those glute medius and piriformis muscles, those deep external rotators of that hip joint. Now, once you find that shape, how can you begin to soften into it? How can you begin to befriend the sensation rather than fight against it? longer we're here, you might begin to notice how sensation changes. If you can go deeper into the shape by reaching your ribs forward and past that front shin bone while sticking your bum back. Or maybe you need to pull back, just depending on where you're at on the sensation scale. I like to say, aim for about a 6 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is someone's chopping off your leg. Never go that far. So aim for about 60% of your effort here. Five more breaths. Try to half hood your eyelids as you soften your gaze. Beautiful. Lift your spine. Keep your legs as they are, and then think about this back right leg. Grab a hold of that back right foot and then pull it, tuck it in towards your bum so that you can almost roll onto the shoelace side of that foot. Shift your blocks and then extend your left leg straight and strong towards the top edge of your mat. Bring your blocks to line the inside of that left thigh bone. Now, if you're really tight in the hamstrings, you might want a strap or a really big pillow or blanket or bolster. If you're going to modify and use a strap, wrap it around the sole of the foot. Sitting tall, rotate the ribcage towards the pinky toe, and then we fold. Otherwise, if you're like, I'm ready, let's go, you're going to get heavy in the hips, lifting tall, bringing that slight revolution of ribcage towards the pinky toes, begin to fold. Now those blocks can frame the front foot, you can land forearms down, whatever you need here. Now what's nice here is we're tossing that sensation right into the left hamstring. Ease off the shoulders if they're bracing. And once again, draw the length of your breath into the base of your spine, and then actively envision it exiting out the crown of your head. And again, you can be up on hands, just as long as you're getting that heart spilling forward motion. We're going to be here for a little while, so just find a depth that works for you. I'm going to brace and stack my forearms. Got 90 seconds left, my friends. How can you soften and just begin to drop into that place of ease for 90 seconds? Let your belly soften, let go of core, and just let your organs reset. The idea here is we kind of want to drop into that rest and digest parasympathetic system here. Three more cycles of breath. Slowly lift up. Shift your blocks. I recommend bending that front knee first, and then roll forward back onto hands and knees. Make your way on hands and knees any way that feels best for you, MU. Then from your tuck toes, press back down dog. Scan your body from side to side. Notice what feels different, what feels changed. Let's drop to hands and knees. We're gonna go chin to chest, stick your bum in the air, elbows bend back to hip creases. Slide through, and then work that cobra. Elbows hug back to heels, shoulders move away from ears, and we're lengthening tailbone so we don't crunch into the lower back. Again, hands are light, we're not actually really using them. They're just there for props. And then slowly slide back, tabletop. From here, roll over onto that right hip. Do any wardrobe adjustments if needed. From that right hip, bring your right shin bone parallel to the top edge of your mat, left shin bone parallel to the left edge of your mat. Working that passive pigeon, deer pose I've heard it called before, 90-degree angle pose. Place your blocks towards the top edge of your mat. And then flex all 10 toes in as you get really heavy on that right hip. Now think about drawing length up your side bodies first, cinching the waistline slightly in, kind of buffer those rib cages up. And then relaxing the shoulders, begin to lean your heart forward as you stick your right butt cheek back. And we can fold towards the knee to start. I find that's the most passive way to enter. And dropping forearms down, dropping elbows down. Take your time. What's nice is you kind of get to play architect with your own yoga practice by supplementing it with props. You get to use all the pillows, all the blankets at home. You don't have to have fancy, expensive yoga blocks. You can use books, use pillows. I'll come back to that air of softness. That softness within strength. Whether it's your breath that's easy and smooth, or you actively soften a physical body part. Notice how you can begin to just remain here. And as you remain, can you become more introspective and interested in what's happening below your surface rather than everything that's happening around it? Become so disinterested with everything around you that you can't help but go inwards and notice breath, notice sensation, notice fidgets or wiggles, and try to come back to that place of ease, of stillness. Notice if your back body's wanting to dome a little bit. Let the heart reach forward, the shoulders melt back. You're almost there, MU. My friends at home, my friends Instagram Live, wherever you are at, whenever you are taking this, just honor your experience. Three more breaths. And then without rushing, elevate your spine. Take a hold of that back left foot. Tuck the heel in towards your bum so you're almost sitting on the shoelace side of that left foot. Extend that right leg straight. So you kind of want that right angle, that 90-degree angle between your thighs, and then get really comfy in that right hip as you gently rotate your ribcage towards that extended right leg. I'm going to take my blocks to frame my front thigh to start. And again, my friends at home, if you have really tight hamstrings, a strap will be your best friend here. You're going to wrap it around the foot, keeping the foot active. Instead of rounding forward, you're going to pull the chest and then fold any amount, just until you get sensation to the back of that leg. So we're doing a longer hold here, so I tend to find it gets spicy really quick. When you're ready, use your breath to elongate, take up space, and then exhale, surrender into that space. And try to keep those toes pulling back. Don't let them externally rotate. Keep them straight up. What's nice about this slow down practice is you can kind of let go of the distractions, the noise. You can close the internet web browsers of your brain. Yoga is union. It means to use, to connect, to yoke together. So all this asana, all this physical prep we do is actually for the mental prep. It's for that mind-body connection. It's not stopping our thoughts completely, but it's giving us the power to slow down enough and get comfortable in our body enough that we can just simply be with our thoughts. Maybe practice cultivating space between them. Smooth out your breath. You're almost there. Last 5 breaths. Slowly rise. And then this time I want you to lean as far over to your right hip so you can safely swing your left leg forward. Give your legs a wiggle, my friends. Readjust in your seat. Now, this next one's a big quad opener. If there's any knee issues, I recommend modifying and sitting up on blocks or pillows. So let's start that here. I'll show you what that looks like. So plunk your bum up on a block. Now, lean as far over to the left as you can to safely swing the right leg back and point the toes to the back edge of your mat. Now, shift your weight back over to the right hip and find some equal and even weight distribution between your right and left hip. Now, if you have really tight quads, you might automatically already be feeling this. If you have really tight shin bones, really tight ankles, you could probably be feeling this. And this is where you're gonna stay. So this is stop number 1. Stay here if this is enough. If you're like, I don't feel anything, I could do other things, you're going to slightly and slowly shift that block and then sit your bum right back down. The idea here is to have both thigh bones pointing in the exact same direction. Good. Now, if you're like, I feel everything here, stay here. So stop number 2. Stop number 3, you're gonna take your blocks behind you and then slowly begin to lower down onto elbows and forearms. Now, what I don't want to see is I don't want to see your butt poking up through that right hip. Keep the right hip anchored down, your hips square. Stop number 3 is going to be a lot more intensive on those quads. And if you're like, Meg, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what I'm feeling, you want to ideally feel this through the quadriceps there, right into that sartorius muscle, that hip flexor. You want to get that obliquely crossing muscle to open as it connects to the top of the IT band, right up by the TFL in the outer hip. It can get quite tight, it can get quite grumpy. So keep those knees, keep that left foot pointing forward, and then maybe, just maybe, doesn't have to happen today, you can come to lay all the way down. Now squeeze the back of your right butt cheek to lengthen your tailbone. And then if you're like, Meg, this is great, I feel all the things, stay here. Stop number 4. Stop number 5, you're going to plant your hands beside your hips, bend your left knee, plant the sole of the left foot beside the right knee, push in the heel to lengthen the tailbone, and then slight to hover, oh, I can't get that sentence out, slightly hover your tailbone off the ground as if to lengthen it past the front edge of your mat. So stop number 5. If this is where you're at, awesome, but please remember at any point in time, you're going to exit this shape the exact same way you came into it, mindfully and gently. Let's take 10 breaths wherever you're at, experiencing whatever you're experiencing, and just stay with it. If ever you do begin to feel the top of that right foot, you're more than welcome to lay a blanket, a towel, or double fold your mat underneath it. Keep reaching the right knee straight and down, like you're trying to touch the ground and maintain that connection. If you do a lot of spin, row, this is amazing for you. Really want to get those quads open. Beautiful. If you have that tailbone hovering, gently release it down. If you have the knee bent, extend it long. If this is where you're at, slowly begin to build yourself back up. If your hands are on blocks, slowly lift up. Lean as far over to the left as you can to safely bring that right leg forward. Just pause with both legs extended. Give them a wiggle. Reset. So what I even noticed on my own body was my right knee was wanting to pull a little bit wider. So let's try to avoid that on the left side. So again, building this up. Step number 1, sitting on the block. And you don't have to sit on just one block. You can sit on like 2 or 3 if you need, or pillows. Now, lean as far over to the right to safely bring that left knee forward and left heel back. Place the shoelace side of the left foot down so that your bum could sit to the inside of the heel. Now, if you're like, ooh, this is nice, I feel everything, stay here. Stop 1. Stop number 2, you're going to shift that block and then begin to create even and equal weight distribution between your left and right hip. Good. Stop number 3, you can slowly begin to lean back, drop to forearms or blocks. Yeah, this feels pretty good. My left quad's tighter, my right was what I'm noticing, and you'll probably notice something like that too. One leg will be a little bit more tight than the other. Stop number 4, coming to lay all the way down. Maybe hands go up overhead, and you can just kind of drop into it. And stop number 5 is a bit more active rather than passive. Hands plant, bend that right knee, plant it right beside the left foot, and then, or left knee, and then you're going to slowly push into the right heel. Lengthen your tailbone towards your right big toe mound. Get that counter pull through the hip flexor. Good, and then we're going to take about 10 full breaths here. These are slow yoga breaths, not Lamaze breaths. So really draw the inhale in, feel the tippity top of your lungs. And let it all go. Empty the lungs, feel that slight compression into the base of your ribs. Where the belly hollows in. The goal here is to feel like your hips are on an equal plane. You're lengthening your tailbone long. You're feeling like you're lengthening your spine rather than compressing it. And all sensation is just right into that left quad. Feel like you're drawing space into your lower back. Beautiful. And coming out the same way you came in, extend the right leg first. Brace the elbows, dig them down. Slowly lift yourself up, and then come up to hands. Good. Back at that starting point, you're going to lean as far over to the right as you can to safely swing the left leg forward. Pause. Give your legs a wiggle. Whew. Excuse me while I fiddle with the mic. Good work, MU. Good work, my friends at home, Instagram Live. Okay, so facing the front edge of your mat, my friends with tight hamstrings, you're going to want that strap again. Bend your right knee and bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Now take that left foot a little bit wider than the outer edge of your mat. Janu Shirshasana, so head to knee pose. It's translated in Sanskrit, but I like to think of it more as head to toe pose. So that strap is great. Grab a hold of it, wrap it around the ball of the left foot. Now, Instead of diving forward, I want you to think about drawing the front body longer than the back body. Lift your chest, and with a big cleansing sigh, slowly lean your right rib cage towards your outer left pinky toe. Now, with this bent right knee, you're going to need to feel that QL muscle, that square muscle that lines right up against your erector spinae, your glute max, and your obliques, right in that lower back. Yeah. The second place you're going to feel this is right in that hamstring. So this is why we did all that hamstring prep before. So my friends, if you're happy here and you're like, I don't think I need the strap, you can actually just untether it, toss it aside, and then rest hands beside your shin bone, either on blocks or the ground. If you're like, I could go deeper, you're going to take that right hand, reach to the opposite outer edge of the left foot, and pull yourself down. Tailbone pushes back like you're trying to create the longest lower back you could. Head comes to toes, chest moves forward, shoulders move back. And reconnect to space with breath. It's almost like you could smile at your toes. Now, my friends, if you are at home and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know if I'll ever get there, and you're like here, this is a great place to start. What I want to see is elbows coming back towards hips, shoulders hugging back, and reach with a tall spine. That's a great place to start. Gradually over time, you'll begin to lean towards that outer pinky toe and work into that back body once those hamstrings begin to release. So wherever you're at, can you just begin to settle into the juice of it, the meat of it, for 5 more breaths. Inhale, rise. Let's do the other side. Right foot extends, take it out nice and wide, past the outer edge of the right side of the mat. Bend your left foot in. Now sitting tall, rotate your rib cage to face the right pinky toe. Again, either starting with your strap if you know your hamstrings are tight. Rotating with a tall spine, begin to fold left rib cage towards that right pinky toe. Again, we're not hugging the shoulders forward. They're moving down and back as the chest moves forward and up. Now, if this left knee is just kind of floating, I should have given you this cue on the other side. Feel free to place a blanket, a block, a towel underneath it. Really just ground the hips, ground the sit bones. Good. And if you don't need the strap, you don't need it. And then just fold. Try to avoid doming the upper back. It feels as if you could almost just smile at those toes. My friends, you'll begin to notice some weird things about your toes in the sense that you might need a pedicure. That's my homework for everyone at home now. Go ahead, treat yourself to a pedicure. Everyone. I promise you'll enjoy it. If not, you can reach out and yell at me. I'll be fine. So again, as you can see, it's not really head to knee pose, it's head to toe pose, like you're trying to reach your heart to your knee and then head to the ankle. Want that full belly expansion as you breathe, really lengthening those side bodies. Five more breaths. Inhale, rise. And then nice and slow with bent knees, roll onto your back. Grab a hold of one block, and then I'm going to ask you to place it right underneath your tailbone, just for a really passive little bridge. You can use a rolled up towel, a really stiff pillow, a book. Make sure it's not the hardest hard copy you've ever had underneath your bottom. You want it sitting right about where the flesh of your glutes starts, So about where your butt crack starts. There's just no other good pointer besides that. So getting that slight counter pressure into your sacral joint. See if you can deepen your breath into your belly and let it expand down to the ground through the lower spine. So even if you want, take your hands to your belly. Begin to actively participate with your breath. It's our last shape before we close out our practice together. You can really drop the weight of your thigh bones into the back of your hips. Press into your heels just enough that you can shift that block beside you. Your tailbone lengthen down. Take up lots of space as you get comfortable for your final resting pose, your Shavasana. Blanket up, pillow up, whatever you need to get comfortable here. Wherever you choose to land, let go of these last few wiggles and fidgets. I'm gonna move my ponytail so I can rest my head properly. Relax your jaw with an easy sigh. Let your eyes close. So tune back inwards and notice the soft curl of your fingertips, the weight of your forearms, the drop of the chest and shoulders. Really unclench through the back of your glutes. Feel like your lower back could relax its grip on your spine. Let your breath be soft and easy. Feeling its natural involuntary response. Just knowing that it'll happen regardless if we're paying attention to it or not. Allowing yourself to drop into stillness, to deep relaxation. Let go of distractions. Allow your thoughts to slow. And just notice your awareness of this present moment. Feeling every muscle, every cell in your body. Every bone, maybe even tapping into the subtle rhythmic heartbeat that lies just beneath your chest. Maybe feeling a little bit of digestion. And holding that awareness deep in your breath. Begin to stir up some energy. Wiggling easy. And then slowly rolling to your left side. And then make your way up to seated. Draw hands to heart center as you humble your chin with gratitude. The light within me honors and recognizes that divine universe that sits within each and every one of you. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be full of light. Namaste. Once again, my name is Meg Protz. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up on Instagram, Meg P Yoga, all one word, all lowercase. Check out the spin classes I'm doing. Check out the rest of our crew. They're all doing amazing, fundamental, fabulous work. Otherwise, Instagram Live. Take care. Stay healthy. MUVirtual. I'll see you soon.